Today we look into a game that was released into the arcades in the year of 1994 and was ported to the home console market in the following year. The game I talk of is Primal Rage, a game that struck much controversy, good and bad reviews, brought around mixed opinions, and also provided 4 top Easter eggs, including bowling and volleyball. Welcome back to the Easter Egg Hunter. Welcome everyone to the home of finding sweet chocolate Easter eggs within our video games. Well, okay, perhaps not chocolate ones, but it's as good as having and finding the real thing, but just on a different level, as this is the Easter Egg Hunter. Number 1. To get this monstrous, terrifying, and what is a quite unusual and surprising Easter egg journey underway, kicks off on the PlayStation 1 and takes us firstly to the region of the ruins, which was once a bustling hive of activity within a thriving metropolis, though now is nothing more than the shell of its former self, thanks in part to a huge meteor that ripped through the heart of it. This land is also the domain of Chaos, the god of decay, whom is very handy when it comes to pulling off this first Easter egg. Start up a 2-player game and make sure one of you takes the role of Chaos and battle onwards until you reach the stage of the ruins. Once there, allow each fighter to win 1 round. Then, during the third and deciding battle, leave both dinos to rest and allow the timer to run down to between 3 and 2 seconds. Then, using Chaos, you must quickly perform the Fart of Fury move, which is activated by holding triangle and X together, and then by moving from down on the directional pad to towards, up and away in one fluid motion. Chaos will unleash a huge green cloud of gas that will hurtle towards the other player. As long as the fart is still in the air after the counter hits 0 and the sudden death kicks in, instead of typical meteors hitting the ground behind you, you will now be treated to cows, yes, cows, falling from the sky and plummeting into the river, which then proceed to float away. Number 2. The next Easter egg was an exclusive to the Genesis or Mega Drive version of Primal Rage and could only be accessed by bringing up the Extra Options tab, and for that you needed to be resting on the main menu and then enter the following directional pad combination: left up, right up, left right left up. After the menu appears, enter upon it, then select the option of OK, right. Then click Done, followed by the Start button, where now you can select your character, which in this case you must choose Diablo. When the battle begins, you will notice straight away that rather than having worshippers follow you around, you will instead have a red bouncing devil, which is actually also known as the Fergus Devil, in reference to Fergus McGovern, British video game developer and founder of Probe Entertainment that was later acquired by Acclaim Entertainment. Fergus also turned up in Mortal Kombat 2, but that's for another instalment. Number 3. The third secret can be done on most versions of the game, but is easiest to achieve on the Mega Drive port compared to the rest, and as long as you have that Extra Options menu in place, you simply have to scroll through the list again until you see bowling. Bowling. Yes, bowling, because this is a fighting game after all. Now select Done, then hit Start. The game will now automatically begin and you will notice 2 Armadons who will immediately walk off to the right hand side of the screen together. Then 10 worshippers will form a typical bowling frame. After 3 seconds, the first Armadon will start spinning towards the followers, where you can now control the movements of the Dino Ball by using the directional pad as the Armadon passes through the pins. The other Armadon will now have a go, which in turn you could offer up the controller to a friend and battle it out to see who can score the highest amount over just 2 frames of bowling each. After the game is finished, the normal fighting battle mode will now continue. Number 4. Well, if you thought bowling was a little mad and yet totally awesome and amazing at the same time, well, to finish off this episode, we have a secret that is simply the icing on the cake. Though sadly it cannot be performed on the 16-bit versions, and in fact it is a little sketchy as to which versions do honour this Easter egg, but I can safely say that it sure works on the PlayStation 1 and the arcade. To get you on your way, you must be fighting on Saren's stage of the Cove and battling in a 2-player mode. Now, it doesn't matter which characters you use, though I do find it's easier if you use the same. So, first off, allow a character to perform a combo, high or low, it doesn't really matter how big, just as long as 2 worshippers walk into the middle of the battle and kneel down to salute you. Once this happens, steer one player towards them, then punch them into the air. This will launch the worshippers towards your opponent, where, if timed correctly, they can proceed to uppercut them back in the opposite direction. If you keep both hitting the followers backwards and forth to one another, eventually, to sheer amazement, a net and an umpire will arise from the ground, where for the next 30 seconds you and a mate are locked into a full game of volleyball? Coming soon on the Easter Egg Hunter.